What is up, guys? What is up? If we didn't get to say it last week, want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas. My guy, Dead Press Picks, the one and only, the GOAT. How are you, my guy?
What's up, my man? Doing well. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. It's Friday. My wife and kids are off, so they're at home downstairs playing in the playroom. So
There we
can't
go.
complain, man. Can't complain. All right.
Complaints.
I guess let me go ahead and reset the room. We are doing this courtesy of Seven Stack Sports, the best Twitter book around. They do minus 105 odds for NFL and NBA, which to me is super important. They have odds boosts, they have promos. Definitely give them a shout, give them a DM at Seven Stack Sports on Twitter. Let them know DPP or myself, AC, sent you, and he'll hook you up with some awesome like free play bonuses or promotions or things like that. Anything you want to add to that, Dad?
No, sir. Only thing, if you guys retweet this video, Seven Stacks is always doing a little
Bang.
$100 giveaway. So he's gonna pick 10 of you guys for $10. So make sure you hit the retweet button as well.
Yes, retweet for 10. Let me go ahead and post that out so everyone can do that. Retweet the video below for. All right. So this weekend, obviously, football took the reins, always dominates the weekend. But were you able to follow the NBA at all, Dad?
A little bit, AC. I did not have any action on anything last night. Took the NBA night off. But we haven't done a show since Wednesday, right? Yeah, so we're backed up a little bit. Obviously, Christmas Day had to get in on the action. I started off the day strong there with the NBA. Ended up 1-2. I had the Knicks first half, so that was a nice winner. Had the Bucks. I got the Bucks early, AC, at 4.5. They ended up winning by 4. Chris Middleton missed a free throw that could have got us to cover at the end. Would have been a lucky cover. Obviously, they had their largest lead of the game was 4. So they had no business covering that. And then I had the Lakers money line, banning the Lakers for a little bit of time. They were down 20 going into that fourth quarter, tied it up with 40 seconds. And, of course, Nick Claxton gets an N1 to
That was a crazy play. Yeah.
big time play. So, I mean, it could have been worse there in the NBA, but lost a couple of close ones. How about you?
Yeah, I'm talking about Christmas Day. Looking back at my bets here, I was also on Lakers money line to end the night, which was really disappointing. Was also on the Suns game before that. The Warriors had an amazing second half. They were down 4 at halftime, came out really strong and just took control of that game. And now they lead that series 2-1. So props to the Golden State Warriors there. That was without Jordan Poole too. I got the Knicks Hawks under. So ended up 1-2 that day. I think that's what you said you ended up with too. So
Yeah.
The NBA has been kind of weird, right? With COVID and all that. Just looking at last night's games, Sunday night. Let me go through some of those big ones here. You had your Sixers. Sixers came out, took care of business finally. I've been backing them and decided not to yesterday because it just looked too easy. But they beat the Wizards there. Is Philly gonna start rolling, man?
I don't think so, honestly. The thing is, obviously we've headlined the Ben Simmons issues, but yeah, I don't think they're deep enough, to make noise in the East this year. I think they'll end up being a 5 to 6 seed. Maybe they could get up to a 4, but I think the ceiling for the Sixers is winning a playoff series this year. The East is too good, unless they make a move. That involves Simmons, obviously, which is very possible. Then maybe, but at this given moment, no, I don't think they have any chance.
Yeah, and one other game here. We talk about this all the time. I know you haven't backed them all year, even though they're the best cover team in the NBA. But the Cavs just dropped 300 points yesterday, beat the Raptors 144-99, 50-point blowout at home. This team just continues to cover, man. They are a covering machine, and they beat up on bad teams. I think you need to start riding them because even if the books adjust, man, they're just adjust proof.
See, but I bet the Cavs game for the first time Wednesday when I faded them with the Celtics, so it worked. So I'm 1-0.
Oh, there you go.
Teams. But now I feel like it's too late to hop on the train. I feel like they're going to start regressing. But they didn't last night. 144 on this Toronto defense, who is typically a tougher defense. Granted, they had a ton of guys out, right? This wasn't really the Raptors' normal team by any means. But I mean, you got to give credit where it's due. The Cavs showed up and they beat who was in front of them. Big game from Kevin Love. Darius Garland's been great this year. They just these guys keep stepping up for the Cavs, right? They just continuously are getting these contributions from guys across the board. So I mean, you got to give credit where it's due. They've been great.
LeBron needs to go back home for the second time, for the third time.
If they get good again, he'll do
it. Yeah. So another team here last night scored 140 points, 44 points. It was the Spurs 144 against the Pistons 109. That was quick work. I wanted to comment on this last game. I was on the Nuggets -4. It moved to -3 right at tip off. So I lost my bet, but it pushed the 3. The Nuggets won 103-100. They were up, I believe, 5 or 6 with 30 seconds left. Had a really bad turnover at the end, which put the Clippers back in it. Any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, the Nuggets, they've been a 500 team all season, they say, right? So yeah. I think backing them for me has been a bit of a struggle as far as I've kind of stayed away from Nuggets games. Yeah, they're a tough team to figure out. This game on paper, I would have thought the Nuggets would have kind of blew them out. Obviously, we know Paul George is going to be out for a while. So how will the Clippers survive that? I don't know. But, at this current stage, they're going to have to try and take care of business in games like this. They couldn't last night. A really bad third quarter for the Nuggets, right? I think they had like 13 or 15 points. So they just went ice cold from the floor. They were up like 17, I think, or 16 in that third quarter early in the third. So they kind of blew that cover. And then you mentioned late, Luke Kennard hits a late 3. They actually had a chance to lose that game outright. So if I was on the Nuggets last night, I wouldn't have been happy. They probably should have covered that game, and they weren't able to take care of business.
Yeah. All right, moving forward to tonight's slate here. There are a few games. It's a full slate again of sports, right? We have Monday Night Football. We have the bowl game going on right now in college football, and then we have some hoops in the NBA. But let's go ahead and just get into some of tonight's games. I'll go ahead and give you guys a free play real quick. I am running a little cold right now, so please be cautious. But I like Christian Wood points and rebounds over 29.5. I think that game is going to fly over. I think it's at 135 or so. So there's going to be a lot of points, a lot of rebounds. So give me Christian Wood because he's at this point the number 1 option, number 2 option, and number 3 option for the Rockets.
Love that, AC. All right, let's get into tonight's bets. So for today's recap, guys, we're going to kick this off with the game AC was just talking about. The Houston Rockets will travel and face off against the Charlotte Hornets. Hornets currently a 7-point favorite tonight, AC. The total is sitting at 235 flat. This is a game you mentioned, obviously, guys, still out of the lineup for the Rockets, right? They've had some guys in and out. Hornets starting to get a little bit healthier. Obviously, they were really that first team that hit the big COVID stretch, right, where they had like multiple guys out. Do you trust the Hornets covering this 7 points tonight?
I don't, man. I don't. I actually lean the Rockets tonight. I know that goes a little bit against movement. Open up around 6.5 to 7. Now is up to 7.5. And it might continue to move because the Hornets are the more bet team today. They're the more public team. So if this gets up to 8 or so, I still like the Rockets to cover. The Rockets, I know it's against our season-long bet, but the Rockets are a feisty team, and with that young talent there, if they hit threes, they're in every single game. That's why the total is so high in this game. So it's either a Hornets blowout where they win by like 40, just like what the Cavs did yesterday, or the Rockets make it close and maybe even steal the game at the end. What do you think?
All right, you're going to have to pray for me here, AC, because I'm going first half under at 121. That number is so high. I don't trust that the Rockets will be able to score enough points. I know the Hornets' defensive struggles have been well documented. They're one of the best over teams in the NBA. I get it. But, I mean, I just think 121, really to lose that bet, they have to put up 122 points. That's a lot of points to put up in a first half. So I'm rolling the dice more so on a fade of the Rockets offense. I think the Hornets defense will be able to somewhat control them. And to hit a bet like this, AC, you just need a little bit of a cold stretch to win this. This number is so high that it's going to take consistent offense to hit. So I'm going to roll the dice here. It is a high total. I know it's high for a reason, but 121 points in 24 minutes. I'm going to take a shot here and go first half under. All right, AC, maybe, looking at this slate, I don't want to say the best game of the night, but because of the Hawks with these COVID issues, but this still looks like a pretty appealing game here. Hawks and Bulls. You and I both very high on the Bulls coming into the season. We know we have
Yeah.
their team total. We have them to make the playoffs. So we're loving this second place in the Eastern Conference Bulls. But do you trust them 5.5 tonight against a depleted Atlanta Hawks team who also just saw, Delon Wright hit the COVID list as well. So what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, you're right on right there when you said depleted. There's no Trae Young, DeLon, Sharif Cooper, Kevin Horter, Danilo, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins. The list goes on and on. Lou Will, Okongwu, all these guys are out. But why is the line only 5.5 against one of the best teams, not only in the East, but the NBA? And they have their big three playing tonight. They have Vooch, Levine, and DeRozan, who's the best fourth quarter player in the NBA so far this season. So the line to me is a little fishy, man. I know this is like a mash unit for the Hawks, and I know the whole splits between Atlanta on road versus home. But I think the value here is Atlanta, man. I think that 5.5, 6 number is pretty interesting because it's around the 2 possessions. So give me the Hawks as a slight lean, and then probably the over, because I think with these 10-day contract players, I just don't think they play any defense. They just really jack shots.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point there. But I think it's a Hawks play all the way here. You see that the line is just not making sense to me by any means. You mentioned obviously there's some guys who haven't been in the lineup for the Kings, for the Bulls, but I think I'm going to trust the line here, fade the world on this one, and we are going to go with the Hawks. I don't know how they're going to do it, right? I don't think we can give you any stats that are going to support the Hawks being a better team. They're obviously not a better team. They're gonna be in a tough spot talent-wise, but it's a home game. And I think, when you play teams like this, you have to understand these guys are still NBA players, right? Even if you're on a 10-day, you're obviously still there for a reason. You can still play. I'm going to trust the Hawks. Kind of a scary play there, AC, but I'm going to do it. And I think the Hawks take care of business.
Look for Cam Reddish to blow off, because he's been kind of taking the reins as the number one option over there in Atlanta, and he's shooting 20-25 shots a game. So if there's Cam Reddish props, definitely look into those.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point as well. Maybe he's over. Is a good play tonight. All right, AC, let's get to this one. The Celtics and the T-Wolves. Both of these teams, man, I mean, I'm looking at the injury report right now. It doesn't stop, right? The Celtics coming in 16 and 17. T-Wolves 15 and 17. So very similar seasons to this point. Both teams are 9th in their respective conferences. Now, Jason Tatum, right, just hit the COVID list as well. We know Dennis Schroeder. That kind of came out late on Christmas, I believe. He was announced out. Marcus Smart is questionable, but Grant Williams out, Josh Richardson. Like, how is this team going to cover 5.5 tonight?
I don't know, man. It's tough, right? You can make the same argument for the Timberwolves. Their big three is out: D'Angelo, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Anthony Edwards. So really, like, I guess the more I talk about the slate and think about it, maybe stay away from the sides and look into player props. If there's no one scoring for the Timberwolves, even Taurean Prince is out, Jared Vanderbilt is out, Beverly is questionable. Maybe look at Malik Beasley. He's probably going to put up 30 shots because that's what he likes to do anyway. So now, as the only guy really having the ball, I see him going off. And then same thing with Jaylen Brown on the other side, right? Jaylen Brown wants to be the number one option, thinks as himself as the number one option from time to time. So maybe a Jaylen Brown prop there. I think it's a Timberwolves play. It's very similar to that Hawks read, right? That every public bettor is going to be on the road team. So you had Chicago last game and Boston this game. But I'm going to ride with the contrarian. I lean the Timberwolves here as well, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's too. You mentioned obviously them being without their guys, but I think when both teams are out, if you're going to go to a side, I would stay away from this game. I think there's no reason to believe that the Celtics can cover that number. How about some Jaylen Brown props tonight? I don't know what his points total will be at, but he's going to have to carry the load. So maybe check that out as well. I think it could be a very big game from Brown tonight. All right, let's move to our final 4 games here. The Jazz and the Spurs will battle tonight in San Antonio. Utah coming in, laying 7. Kind of a weird game last game when they played the Mavs, your Mavs. They were not able to pull away in that game at all, despite no Luka, no well, KP did play in that one, right? Yeah, KP played, but still
Yeah.
no Luka in that game. They were able to keep it close, though. I don't want to say the Jazz have struggled because they won 3 in a row, but they did hit that they lost 2 in a row, including one to the Spurs. Did they get revenge on the Spurs tonight, laying 7?
Yeah, the Jazz, as we all know, you and I talk about it all the time, but they're one of the elite regular season teams in the NBA for the last like 3, 4, 5 years. There's no Donovan Mitchell tonight, which is a big loss to them. But one thing I wanted to point out is the Jazz haven't covered in 5 games.
Yeah,
Even when they're at full strength, they're 0-5 against the spread in the last 5. And the Spurs are playing well. Although it's a second night of a back-to-back for the Spurs, they still are at home. It was a 30-point win last night, so it wasn't like the players were really taxed or anything. So I'm gonna continue to ride this dog train today, man. I kind of like the Spurs tonight at home, +7. I think the loss of Donovan Mitchell is gonna be really big for the Jazz, and the Spurs have, the athletes and the wing players to kind of give Utah trouble, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, you mentioned that the biggest note in this one, AC, obviously no Donovan Mitchell. That is a huge loss for this Jazz team, not only scoring, but just playmaking ability overall. So I love San Antonio tonight here. DeJounte is the big guy out, obviously, for the Spurs. So that's a big miss there. But it's still a spot where I think that they get it done. The 7 points is a lot of points with no Donovan Mitchell tonight. In this spot. So give me the Spurs tonight. All right, AC, before we get into the final 3 games, just want to give a shout out to 7 Stack Sports, who sponsors all of our shows here.
Yes, sir.
2 in the Zoom. Make sure you give them a follow on Twitter at 7 Stack Sports. We'll be doing more giveaways. We did a bunch during Christmas week. We'll do a bunch more this week. Monday Night Football tonight. A lot of basketball games. We do these collab picks for $100 giveaways. So please keep an eye out. Remember, if you're watching this video, retweet 7 Stacks. It's going to give 10 people $10. Who do that must be following him on Twitter at 7 Stack Sports. All right, AC, let's get into these final 3 games. Let's kick it off here in Phoenix with the Suns and the Grizzlies. Suns, like you said, lost that game against the Warriors. They were a pretty heavy favorite in that one. But do they get back to business tonight at home? Looks like a good bounce back spot for the Suns, doesn't it?
This is where I'm gonna ride the square play here. Disappointing loss on Christmas night against the Warriors, 107-116. Guys like Toscano Anderson for the Warriors really stepped up and hit a lot of shots there. The Grizzlies tonight are on the road, second night of a back-to-back. That's much different than the Spurs, who are playing home and home. So I kind of want to fade the Grizzlies tonight. They played really well last night. They beat the Kings in Sacramento by 25. Now they got to travel down to the desert in Arizona. So back-to-back travel days. I like the Suns in a bounce-back spot. I think it's going to be a square play where the favorite is going to cover the first half, which I'm sure you probably lean, and then they also cover the full game as well.
Yeah, hit it on the head there. See, it's going to be a first half Suns play for me here. I do hate to bet, the super square side in this one, but no reason, in my opinion, not to in this one. Coming off that bad loss, they're going to come out hot in this game. Devin Booker's going to come out hot. They're going to control pace, and the advantage in this one to me is going to be the paint presence that they have with DeAndre, and the Grizzlies do not have a really good big man at this stage in the season. So I think it could be a good game to also look out for some Ayton props. His points over, maybe his rebounds over. He's going to have his way in this one as well. So keep an eye out for the Suns tonight. I think
Dead. Both of us are kind of looking away from the screen every 10 seconds because we're watching the bowl game.
Yeah.
We need to write a letter or something to college football to always have morning football.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
amazing.
It is great. Yeah. And college basketball, too. I mean, college basketball, I think, should do it every day. We do get that this week, though. You see, we get a lot. All week, we're going to have early bowl games or a lot of college basketball early as well. So this week, we get lucky. We get bailed out with a lot of those. But they should do them. I agree. They should do them every day, not just holiday seasons and all that stuff. But, yeah, that definitely should make that a thing. All right, so I think we're in alignment there on the Suns. This might be the most interesting game of the night from a betting point of view because it's the closest line. Your Dallas Mavericks and the Portland Trailblazers tonight. This game is currently, I'm seeing this line about at a pick 'em, kind of depending the book. I see some have the Mavericks -1. Some have this at a flat pick'em line. Give me your thoughts on this.
Two really bad teams, man. Two teams that are missing a lot of guys, which every team is really, but they were already bad before COVID really hit the NBA. The Mavs have lost 4 of their last 5 games. The Blazers have lost 5 of their last 6 games. Both teams are trending in the wrong direction, both going down for the season. Portland's only 12-20. There's this misnomer that Portland is really good at home. They're only 9-9 against the spread at home. So it's not like they really dominate. They started the season very hot, but it's kind of cooled off at home there in Portland. So for me, man, this is a layoff. I think it's an underplay because I think both teams' offenses are kind of struggling right now. But I don't have a pick on the side, man. What about you?
If Dame goes, they say I'm going to trust them at home. I've weirdly had good luck backing the Blazers. Like I know they aren't very good, but I've been able to hit them in some good spots. He is currently questionable. It's a personal matter, is what it's listed as far as his injury, goes in this one. So if he goes,
Personal, does that mean he's getting traded, man?
you never know, or he's trying to work a trade, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he's trying to figure out something to
Get out of Portland, Dame. Get out of Portland.
I was having this discussion with my friends. You respect loyalty, right, with guys. So I respect what Dame's doing, but yeah, at some point, I mean, Portland's
To a fault, yeah.
like Giannis did it, right, and you respect him. A lot of people thought he'll go to LA, right, win some chips. He did it. He was the guy who drafted the Bucks, did everything. So I understand why Dame's doing it, but they have no chance. They're not even a play. Like think about a championship in Portland. It is years down the road. They have nothing.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Unless they went crazy in free agency or something, but I just don't see it happening. Not a big enough market. All right, I see the final game of the night. The Nets and the Clippers. You mentioned the Clippers yesterday. We were just talking about that Nuggets game. Now the Clippers are on a back-to-back here. They are -4 right now. We know that the COVID-related issues have knocked out Kevin Durant in this lineup, LaMarcus Aldridge. Kyrie is out because of that. Yeah, now Kyrie being a part-time player, I guess he could play. How about that job, being a part-time NBA player? It won't be bad, would it?
Amazing. And then he gets COVID the day he comes back.
Yeah, definitely kind of weird. But for the Clippers, obviously the Paul George absent, Marcus Morris Sr., I've talked about this numerous times. I think his absence has been massive this season. And another guy who's been out, Isaiah Hartenstein, who I think is their better big man. I think he's a better big man than Zubac is. So they have a lot of guys missing from this lineup as well. Also on a back-to-back, Nets playing on Christmas night.
Impressive win, right? James Harden tore up. And then the unsung hero in that game who hit 8 threes, most threes ever in a Christmas Day basketball game, was Patty Mills. So, for me, if the Nets want to have a similar performance, Patty Mills has to hit 8 threes again. I don't know if he can do it again. He's a great shooter, awesome role player, but to expect someone like Patty Mills, who I hold in high regard, he's also really good, in international basketball. But if he was a guy who could hit 8 threes a game every game, he would not be a bench player. So I don't know if he could do it again. I'm going to ride with the home team here. I know there's no Paul George. Like you said, no Morris, no Reggie Jackson. But I think the Clippers sneak out a win here on a second night of a back-to-back. This is kind of my upset special for me, Dad. Like, I think Clippers money line is the play today. We have a few live comments in the thread. We have we have one guy here, that guy Betts, who's absolutely rolling right now. Thank you so much for jumping on. He said, "What's up, fellas? Thank you for your support." Alpha Dog Sports, one of our best friends, he said, "Y'all better talk about the GOAT, Luke Kennard." Let's talk about Luke Kennard, man. He probably will be starting and will throw up 15 to 20 points. Well, what was that?
Alpha loves Luke Kennard.
Yeah, he does. Is Alpha lefty? Is he a lefty?
There's something. I'm trying to think of why he likes him, right? He's not a Duke fan. I don't know. He's a big Luke Kennard guy, but I mean, he's right? Kennard has stepped up.
Yeah.
This season. I also do think it's a Clippers play here, AC.
Okay. We're in alignment on every game, Dad. That could be good or very bad.
No, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. We woke up feeling good this week. The thing with the Nets, though, that I wanted to say was it's not a typical road trip, right? Because they were already in LA.
True.
So there's no additional travel. So it's a good spot for the Nets. But, I don't know. Like you mentioned, Patty Mills went crazy in that Christmas Day game. I don't think he's going to do that again. Yeah. And I think I'm willing to roll the dice getting points. because you're essentially betting against that, right? Like
Yeah,
it'll be another
exactly.
no.
Because
So
I think James Harden is still gonna eat. A lot of people don't realize
well,
James Harden always ate when he went to LA, when he was on OKC, when he was on Houston, and now as a Brooklyn Net, because he's from Los Angeles. That's
just shows
his
up.
yeah, that's his
Yeah.
hometown, so he kind of shows out all the time. I'm with Dad. I'm kind of fading the Patty Mills 35 points again. If he doesn't get that, I think the Clippers win.
Yeah, I'm with you here, AC. All right, that is all the NBA games, but it's Monday night, AC. So a lot of people in the comments, Monday Night Football,
And I
asking.
already know we're aligning here.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can match up here on this Monday night game. So a lot of people in the comments asking about that. What do you think on this Monday night game? So the Dolphins right now and the Saints will battle it out tonight in New Orleans. The Saints, kind of depending on the book, it's like 3.5 some places. What is your thoughts on this one tonight?
Your college team is Notre Dame, right? Like
That
you
is
root
that is my
all right, man. We're gonna ride with Ian Book. We're
Uh-huh.
gonna ride with Ian Book tonight. I think he gets the job done. It's the lowest total in the NFL so far this season. I think it's like 37 and a half. Let me double check.
Yes,
37 and a half, the lowest. The previous low was 39 and a half, and that was the Bills Patriots game when there was like a tornado at the stadium. So like this is I think it's gonna go under. I think the Saints are gonna pull it out. It's gonna be like a 13-7 type of game, similar to what the Eagles and Giants played a few weeks ago.
Yeah, this is one I love the Saints in tonight. AC, they're getting. I got them at 3.5, right? So you're getting a field goal plus in a game where I think we're forgetting a little bit about Miami. People are like, "Oh, Miami so hot." Yeah, they are, but who has Miami beat during this win streak? Right? They have not played strong teams during this big win streak that they've had. I'll list them out for you here. AC, during the win streak, it has been the Texans, right, who have 4 wins. The Ravens, impressive win. I'll give them the Ravens, okay? But then the Jets, the Panthers, the
Mhm,
Giants, the Jets.
mhm.
Every single one of those teams I listed except the Ravens are sitting at dead last in their division, right? Their combined win total, I wouldn't even be able to do it, but it's very bad at the moment. So the wins have not been impressive to me at
Yeah,
all.
that's too much math. That's too much
Yeah,
math to add
yeah,
up all the
yeah.
losses.
We're not
Dad, your Philly accent is amazing, man. You gotta say Missouri and during again.
Yeah, I'll give it to you guys later. But the thing is in this game, so I'm all over the Saints getting a field goal plus. The Saints have a very very good defense, so I think we'll be able to slow down the Dolphins offense. But we have to remember the Dolphins don't have like a dynamic offense by any
No,
means,
they
right?
don't.
They,
Is
they've been
Waddle playing tonight?
they've been beating up. I would have to triple check his status here and see. I'll check while we're on because it has been so many guys, back and forth, back and forth. I don't see if it's official yet, but even if we get Wild going in this one, I'm not. I don't think he'll impact my play at all. I trust Sean Payton. I think he's one of the best in the business. He'll have a good enough game plan. And like you mentioned, AC, Notre Dame pride here. My boy Ian
There
Book.
you go.
He's going to show up in this game. People forget he had a real good year, right, in college. I don't think he could be a huge fall off from Taysom Hill at the quarterback position. I'm a big
Oh yeah, definitely
Taysom
not.
Hill quarterback guy. You know what I mean? Run the ball, let Kamara do his thing. I don't see any reason that this line shouldn't be, close to a pick 'em. So I'm
Yeah, from a quarterback position, you're absolutely right. Like it's not a big drop off from Taysom Hill to even Simeon to Ian Book.
correct.
I think they're all the same. You got to lean on that rushing attack. Kamara is back 100%. Mark Ingram is there as a great change of pace, change
Right.
of backup running back there. So lean on that defense, lean on the running game. Miami's basically going to do the same thing, right? If they put the ball in Tua's hands, he's been throwing a lot of pick sixes, keeping teams close anyway. So I like the Saints. A lot of people are kind of down in terms of like home field advantage, but I think New Orleans still holds it. Like they dominate Tom Brady at home, for example. They dominate just opposing quarterbacks in prime time in that building. So I like the Saints with you, man.
I am. Yep. So we're in alignment with another one, AC. So this should be a good night for sure. All right. We want to thank our sponsor again, Seven Stack Sports. Give them a follow on Twitter. Make sure you guys are looking out for a big time giveaway tonight for Monday Night Football. There it is on the screen at Seven Stack Sports. If you guys were working or couldn't watch this episode, make sure to you're able to rewind, watch every single thing. We went through every NBA game, also NFL. we'll be retweeting it throughout the day, giving it more pushes. Make sure if you guys are watching to retweet this video. 7 Stack Sports is going to pick someone for 10 people for $10 for tonight's Monday Night Football game. Use that, little bit of money maybe to make it big.
Some same game parlay. Definitely read one of Ded's articles. He's on fire with those SGPs.
Yep. So make sure to get them in as well. All right, AC. Well, thank you again for another great episode, and we will see you guys same time on Wednesday. Thank you, everyone. Good luck on your picks tonight.
Beautiful.